Good morning, students. Welcome back to your virtual classes from Oscar Public School. So, class New King and Kingdoms. This chapter is going on, and we have completed Gujar Pratihara's Pals and their tripartite struggles, and for the Kannauj and importance of the Kannauj and and land grants, prashastis, and so on. And we have started the case study of Cholas. Cholas, you know that who were ruling in the South India. And I have told you about the Cholas and their kingdoms, their rulers, Rajaraja first and Rajendra first, and who was very important in the context of Chola's kingdom. Okay, and in fact, I have told you about the Rajaraja first who made the Brideshwara temple, and Rajendra first who won the Ganga Valley, and that's why he got a title of Gangaikonda Cholapuram, and he made a temple Gangaikonda. Okay, class. So next is about the art and architecture. Chola's Nataraj. Chola's Nataraja is often said to be supreme statement of Hindu art, and the temple our cultural center and the center of the craft production. They were given devdana or land grants by the member of the royal families, and these lands were provided with irrigation system and were very productive. The produce of land went into maintaining the temples and to the specialists who worked at the temples. The often lived near the temples. The settlement around the temples also consisted of garlands maker, cooks, sweepers, magicians, dancers, etc. The South Indian temples were not only the place of the worship but also served as a cultural center and the hub of the economic and social activity. Class, I have told you yesterday that Chola's empire and their temples were very important and that time period, because that time period of the temples, they were not only the symbol of religious, they were symbol of cultural, they were a center of culturals, economic, social, as well as religious also. So it's mean it's proved that their temples were very important. Okay, class. So now let's start a new topic, that is agriculture. Agriculture. The Cholas had become powerful on account of trade and agriculture prosperity. They used their money for initiating agriculture revenue reforms, and these reforms helped in building a strong agrarian landscapes, adorning their economy. Notice on the map of Chola's kingdom how river Kaveri branches off into several channels before emptying into the Bay of Bengal. These channels renewed the soil of vast flood plain year after year. The fertile soil were responsible for agriculture prosperities of that the region. Beside rice, many other crops were also cultivated. The existence of large number in tanks of the period also point toward agriculture prosperity. The agriculture reforms spread far and wide, especially from the 5th and 6th century AD onwards. During this period, forests were cleared in some region to provide land for agriculture, and this land was leveled and special agriculture tools were used. In Delta region, embankments were built to prevent floods. Canals were also constructed for the irrigating the land. With long period of sunshine, to agriculture crop in a year had became possible in some areas. And the variety of a method to irrigate the field were put to practice, and these include canals in the delta region, wells in some areas and tank in others, and these irrigation work required planning, organized labors, resources, maintenance of work, and decision on sharing of water. And these were association officers appointed by the rulers and leaders living in the area who took an active interest in these matters. And the trading association has also built a system network of irrigation which had enabled agriculture to be carried out on the region. The agrarian reforms in the Cholas considerably influenced in irrigation in the other south countries of Southeast Asia. Now, the trading association has closer ties with these some other Southeast Asian countries, and the remains of tank belonging to the some members of MoneyGram guild have also been found. From China, they imported ceramics and glassware. The Cholas had also sent an emissary to China in AD 1077. To further these trading contacts, some historians have found evidence of trade with Arabia, from where Cholas imported horses. Okay, class, the agrarian system of the Cholas. It's a way agriculture, very important for the surviving, and in the Cholas had become powerful on account of the trade and agriculture prosperity. In that time period, trade also became very important in agriculture also. So in that time period, they were busy with the China and the Southeast Asian countries traders, and as well as some historian found evidence of the Arabia with the trade. And in that time period, we can see there were different type of canals, and in the some area wells were dug, tanks were also built to collect rainwater. A great dam and across the Kaveri river made the Tanjavur the capital of the Cholas, the granary of the south. And there was a good network of roads, and trade and commerce flourished. Let's talk about the Cholas trade. The Cholas had flourishing trade with the Southeast Asia and the China, and with the Kaveri Pattam and the Nagane Pattam were the chief ports. And the main items of the trade were glassware, camphor, cotton goods, brocades, ivory, sandalwoods, perfume, precious stones. The Cholas dominating the south for another 100 years, but constant war with the Chalukyas and weakened them. Their place was taken by the Pandyas of Madurai, the Yadavas of Devgiri, the Hoysalas of Hyderabad, and these places we can see in the map. Okay, class. So next topic is administration. Under the Chola rule, the villages were made of self-governing unit. It's very important. In that time period, they had a self-governing unit, and these administrative units were also known as Kurram, Nadu, or Kottam, and depending on the size of the village, a number of Kurram constituted a Valnadu, and the villages were governed by a local assembly known as the Ur, the Sabha, and the Nagaram. Okay, class. First of all, the Cholas village having the self-governing units. Okay, and the smallest unit, that is Kurram or Nadu or Kottam, and the Kurram constitute a Valanadu, and these villages governed by the local assembly. Okay, that is Ur, the Sabha, and the Nagaram. Nagaram was the group of the traders. Okay, the village councils and Nadu performed several administrative functions, including dispensing justice and collecting taxes. Okay, class. The Cholas had well organized recognized mobilization policy. The resource mobilization was also one of the main goal of administration. Okay, in that time period, Sabha was the very important group, or it was very important. Okay, class. So the main feature of the Chola administration were under centralized administration. The rich peasant of the Vellala caste exercised control over the affair of the Nadu's agrarian unit. It's comprised many village, and Nadu was directly under a supervision of the central government. Next is revenue. Productive cultivated land during the time of Rajaraja constituted a major source of land revenue for the upkeep of the Cholas Mandalam. Let's talk about the land revenue. The Sabha helped the king government in the measure the land and was under cultivation calculate the how much tax each person have to pay, and then to collect land revenue. People could pay their tax in the kind of grains and cash. The Sabha maintained the roads, temples, water tanks, and settled all distributed about land, water, and irrigation. Its judicial committee could impose fines, punish criminals. Special emphasis was laid on the construction or irrigation work and the use of advanced irrigation technology. So, the Sabha was also responsible for making irrigation canals. I have told you Sabha was very important at that time period because that is a very free group from the Chola administration. Next is the role of land owners. The land owners were given title like Muvendan Velan, a Velan or a peasant serving three kings, Ayyar chiefs. As the mark of respect, they held important office at the center. The village were grouped into several types like Brahma Devas, Brahma's village, Vellala, farmer village, and tenure, those who did some commendable work, and Devdana, land gifted to temples. A village, now you can see in the picture, I have told you about the land grants. Okay, these were several category land during the Cholas period. First of all, Vellan Gagai, land given to non-Brahmical peasant proprietors. Next is Brahmo Deva, land gifted to Brahmins. Shalabhaga, land for establishment of a school. Devdana, land gifted to temples. Palichdaman, land donated to Jainas institution. Okay, class, there were a different type of land grants. Okay, I explained this. The Cholas Empire. The Cholas Empire was divided into provinces and called Mandalam. Okay, class, and princes, the royal household, were appointed as a governor of Mandalam. Mandalams were divided into districts called Valnadus, and Valnadus were divided into the group of village called Nadu. Every Nadu was further divided into villages, and the group of the villages consisted of peasant families, that is Vellas, and formed the Nadu. And during the rule of the Cholas, the Nadu expanded as a king, gave the land grant that is called Brahmodaya, and to Brahmana scholars, temples. As a result of the number of Brahmanas, settlement emerged in the part of South India. Villages had assemblies which were gathering in the all adult male member. Okay? And the Brahmanas village assembly was called the Sabha. I have told you Sabha was the very important group in that time period. Okay. And the Velala or non Brahmas villages assembly was called the Ur. Okay, so next topic is the role of landowners. The landowners were given the title like Muvendawalan and the Velan of peasants serving their three kings, Ayar, chiefs, etc. As a mark of their respect, they held important offices at the center. The villages were grouped in the several types like Brahmadevas, Brahmas, Brahmin villages, Villala, farmer villages, Taniyur, those who did some commendable work, and Devdana land gifted to temples. A village was an area that wetlands, dry lands, or cultivator, village site, house, gardens, mandrams, meeting place, westlands for grazing cattle, tanks, cow pens, hedges, forest land, barren land, brackish land, stream, channels, rivers, arable near rivers, pits of the water and trees. And the assembly of the Brahmin was also known as the Sabha. And it was a very powerful institution, and it looked after the land gifted to the Brahmins. And the assembly were well organized and functional efficiently. The main feature of the organization Sabha were the following: committees and membership. Committees were separate committees that look after the each different aspects of the land gifted to Brahmins. One of the committees look after irrigation works, another after gardens, still another after temples, and so on. Membership. The names of the eligible member written on the palm leaves were put in the earthen pot, and the boy was asked to take out the specific number of each committee. In this way the committee was constituted. Okay, I have told you about the Sabha. Sabha was a very important that time period because the Sabha was responsible for making irrigation canals. Sabha was responsible to disputed about the land, water and irrigation. They were doing judicial committee. Okay class, so this chapter is finished here.